So let's dive into what I like to call tariff wars, the global tug-of-war. The ongoing tariff battles between the United States and China are riveting, almost like watching two heavyweight boxers in a ring, throwing punches that reverberate through the global economy. Can you believe trade policies have become such a hot-button issue?
Yeah, totally. It's wild to think about how, a bunch of numbers and regulations can really shake up everyday life. What's the big picture here?
Great question. The big picture revolves around tariffs, basically taxes on imported goods. They're intended to protect domestic industries. Picture this. It's a safety net for businesses in the US. Under Trump's administration, tariffs were imposed not just on China, but also on Canada and Mexico. Imagine if your neighbor charged you 25% more just for the pleasure of getting lemonade at a backyard barbecue.
You mean like paying extra just to grab your neighbor's lemonade? That's pretty intense. So what exactly are they trying to protect with all this?
Exactly. They're looking to reduce trade deficits, or the imbalance when we import more than we export. Tariffs make foreign products pricier, nudging consumers towards domestic goods. Think about it like this. If your friend shows up at a barbecue with expensive organic snacks, you might just grab the regular chips instead. But here's the catch. Some tariffs could get postponed. It's like promising a surprise at a party and then pulling a last-minute cancellation. Awkward, right?
Wow, I can totally visualize that. So what are the real impacts on the economy then? How does this all trickle down to the average person?
That's where it gets tricky. These tariffs can lower GDP by up to 0.65% and potentially cost around 370,000 jobs. That's significant. Imagine losing your job and needing to tighten your budget. The average after-tax income might dip by about 1.7 to 2.2% too. You might think twice before going to your favorite restaurant, or, yikes, cutting back on entertainment.
And I guess if people have less money to spend, then what does that mean for businesses?
Exactly. Businesses could find themselves in quite a tight spot. If consumer prices rise due to tariffs, people simply won't spend as freely. It's like a domino effect. But here's the twist. The government could rake in over $263 billion from tariffs by 2025. It's like they're cashing in, but at what expense to the economy and consumer choices?
So they're trading money for, people's livelihoods? That's just mind-boggling.
Right. And the stock market? Oh boy, it's a wild ride. Each time tariffs are mentioned, investor sentiment plummets. For instance, back in March 2025, the S&P 500 dropped by 2.7%. It's almost like a reaction to a horror movie. Investors foresee doom and gloom on the horizon.
Oh, wow. So how did China counter these moves? I assume they weren't just sitting around twiddling their thumbs.
Oh, definitely not. China retaliated with their own tariffs, 10% to 15% on US goods, especially hitting stuff like coal and agricultural machinery. Imagine it's like a high-stakes chess game. Every move prompts a countermove. On top of that, they added companies to their unreliable entity list. Imagine being told you're no longer welcome at your friend's party because they just don't trust you anymore. Total bummer.
Haha, wow. That's a savage move. Are they also feeling the impact of all this economic drama?
Absolutely. These retaliatory tariffs cause uncertainty, which jacks up costs for US consumers. On a larger scale, trade disputes can derail international trade, threatening economic growth globally. The European Union also jumps into the fray with their own tariffs, making matters more complex. Imagine a giant bowl of spaghetti, all tangled up and messy with trade issues.
I can almost picture all that. So at the end of the day, who really wins in all this chaos?
That's the million-dollar question. While the US aims to fortify its domestic industries, the global economy resembles a delicate ecosystem. Shaking it could lead to some serious long-term consequences. Policymakers must think ahead, focusing on stable international trade rather than fueling a war. It's like trying to juggle flaming torches. Exciting, but incredibly risky if you drop one.
Wow, this is so fascinating. It feels like we're navigating through this economic labyrinth. How do we ensure we all find our way out together?